Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to a brand new episode of New Start Monday Knits. Sorry, I'm just getting things a little set up here. So, welcome. I hope everybody has had a great start to your Monday and you are grabbing your knitting and getting settled in for an hour of knitting time, chatting. You guys can just sit and knit and listen to me yatter on and on. You can feel free to type in the comments and we can chat back and forth. You guys can chat to one another. So, I have got this week's yarn that I'm going to cast on. We'll talk about the yarn. We'll talk about the fact that I dyed it and what the winning color is going to be for this week. And I have a little bit of progress on last week's new start. I have a finish, you guys. I have secret knitting that I am not talking about. So that the secret knitting comes up Thursday. So if you're interested in secret knitting, you'll have to come back Thursday when Jocelyn and I are here chatting. So this week's project is going to be socks. I haven't cast on socks in a couple of weeks, so I'm feeling like I'm due. The only problem is I haven't finished any pairs of socks, so the needles might be a bit of an issue. So I will wind this into a cake and cast on when I find some needles or I go buy needles. I'm really trying not to buy more needles, but I may have to. So take a look at the yarn. So I it has my telltale blue blue yarn holders. I don't know I was gonna call them tags, but they're not tags. Anyways, ties. Ties is the word that I want to say. Oh my gosh, Sally says I'm on your TV. That is a little scary. I kind of like to think of people watching me on a little screen on their phone. So, anyways, well, I'm glad you're here, Sally. Happy Monday. So, both of these skeins of yarn I dyed, you guys. And believe it or not, I was actually going for a Halloween feel here. I wanted a Halloween green and a Halloween orange, and I think I succeeded at coming out at Christmas. Christmas is like in my DNA. I just cannot seem to get away from it. But I really was going for a Halloween feel here. The green might be kind of Halloweeny. Some people voted for green because green was a fall. And that was kind of what I was kind of going for. I wanted fall Halloweeny colors, but I didn't have any actual orange dye. So I was playing around mixing and I had lots of fun. And I think I came up with a really cool color here. Wasn't at all what I was intending on, but that's kind of the fun of dyeing. You just never know what you're going to get. So this is sock yarn. It is a superwash merino 75-25, so 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. I use acid dyes to dye it, and there is 3 colors in here. So I'm having fun just playing around, layering the colors on. And this was a really, really bright green, which looked like a leaf green. And I thought, okay, that doesn't look Halloweeny, not exactly what I was looking for. So I put some darker dye on, and this is what I came up with. So there's really nice variation of colors. Like there's some really dark, got some lighter, there's some dark down here at the end. So I think this will be really fun to knit up at some point. Maybe this week, maybe not. I'm not giving it away quite yet. Oh no, what? Oh, Diane, I just scrolling, or as the comments are scrolling by, I'm taking a peek at some of them, and Diane said crime scene red. Is that what you're thinking this looks like? Could be. So there's a lot of colors in here because I kept kind of playing with the color of this one. This one was much brighter to start with, and I actually almost left it, even though an orangey red is not really what is usually not my favorite. But I almost left it, and then I was like, no, I wanted to play around with it, so I added a little bit more darker dye on it, and I really like it. The other was probably pretty too, but I like this too. So the votes. There was a lot of votes, you guys. There was a lot of votes this week. And but there was a clear winner pretty much right from the start. Instagram. So I'll just recap. If anybody's new here, which I don't know if there is. Everybody's names that I'm seeing here looks like they're all regular Monday night knitters here. But you could vote Instagram stories. You could do Instagram posts. There is Wildflower Will's Facebook page. And I also put a comment on YouTube. So there was some comments over there as well. So there's lots of places, wherever you're on social media, there's lots of places you can go to vote for what I should be knitting. Sometimes it's a project, sometimes it's a technique, sometimes it is the yarn. So this week was the yarn. So we had green and red. I love all of this variation in here. I can't wait to knit both of these. There was a few comments. There was more than a few. Some people voted for the color and then said the other one should be heels and toes. A few people just said just do both, do some color work, and I think they would look kind of nice together. So, okay. Do you want to know what the winning yarn is? I will. I know. This is where we need to insert a pretend drum roll. And the yarn that was pretty much in the lead all day across all platforms was green or red. Which one will it be? Okay, the one that I'm going to cast on, the one that I'm going to cake up tonight. Casting on will depend on if I can find needles. It is red. So I am really excited. I was really kind of hoping. I love the green, but I really like how all these colors came out in this skein. Like we've got a little bit of hints of orange that I was kind of going for. There's some dark red. I think this will knit up really good. So there is a lot of people voted for the red. So you guys are going to get your wish. So I'm super excited to see how this is going to dye up. So I have dyed superwash yarn before, and dyeing superwash is a little different than non-superwash wool. I haven't dyed a whole lot of superwash in the last little while, except for any little bits that I've done, like a few balls of Croy here and there is superwash. But most of what I do, all the worsted weight that I've done, like all the Kool-Aid that I did in the summer is classic wool. So it is not superwash. And so it takes the dye differently than the superwash does. So it's going to be fun just playing around. The color doesn't move as much with a superwash. It pretty much it hits the yarn, it absorbs into the yarn, and that's it, that's all. So if you're wanting it to spread and move in the dye pot, it doesn't do that as much as a non-superwash yarn does. So I'm kind of using the same technique I used for some of my other dyeing. And so I'm just gonna have to tweak the process a little bit. So you guys will get to see everything that I dye. There'll be some things that are going to be super wonderful, and I'm sure there'll be some that are so-so. And honestly, I don't know. Like, would these be ones that I would dye over and over and over again? I really like the green. I don't know. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll tweak them as I go along. You guys will see. And I'm stocked up with some blank yarn, so there will be some dye. I'm thinking pretty much every weekend I am planning to do some dyeing. So stay tuned. You guys are going to get to see a whole lot more, I hope, and might play around doing some self-striping. That is going to be a lot of work. But I think I'm going to try it. I'm going to try it and see how it goes. See what I come up with. I might do some Christmas self-striping just to play around one weekend. So that'll be an exciting adventure. So I'm excited. I'm really excited. I stayed up way too late dyeing this yarn one night. And I probably told you my story. Well, one of the other skeins that I did a few weeks ago that I was so excited about that I it was like Christmas morning. It was sitting in the dye pot overnight cooling, and by 5:30 in the morning, I could not contain myself any longer. I got out of bed, went downstairs so I could look at the yarn to see how it had turned out. So I think this is going to be a little bit of a new obsession. you guys. So get ready for a bunch of hand-dyed yarn every week. But there will be some purchases made because Woolstock is coming up in a couple of weekends. I can't believe that. Our Thanksgiving is coming up this weekend. This coming weekend is a long weekend for us here in Canada. Monday is a holiday, so I'm super excited because that means that I have an extra day off work, so there'll be a little bit of extra knitting time, maybe to work on these socks. So that's going to be fun. Plus, there's all the things that come along with Thanksgiving. There's pumpkin pie and family, and I don't know. The weather is looking like it could be cold, and they actually said the S word, snow. I don't think for us. I think it's a little bit farther north, but they said it, which is a little bit unsettling. It's a little too early for snow. Hi, Amanda. Yes, we have Thanksgiving before Halloween. We do. Our Thanksgiving is this coming weekend. Yep. So, yes, ours is a lot earlier than our friends in the US. Anyways, okay, what else can I talk about? Knitting. Do you guys want to see a finish? If you guys saw the Fiber Friends podcast on Saturday, you saw it, but I'm going to show it to you again, even if you did see it on Saturday, because my finishes sometimes are a little few and far between. So I'm going to show them as often as I can. My Orange Crush. This was my Clear the Needles challenge for the Fiber Friends podcast, September challenge. Clear the Needles. I had started this, we did a Orange Crush knit along, and I didn't get it finished for the knit along. Surprise, surprise. So I finished it for the Clear the Needles challenge, and I love this, I have to say. So I'll give you a good close-up look. I really, really like the pattern. I love that stitch pattern. It's one of my favorites. I've knit it tons and tons of times, and I really like it in this asymmetrical shawl. So this was Patton's Croy. So this is some of that superwash sock yarn, and I dyed this with acid dyes, and it is teal. I used the color teal. I didn't mix anything. I just did teal, and I just dip dyed four skeins of Croy, which they're 50-gram balls, so 200 grams of yarn. I just dyed them all at the same time, and I think my like dye lots, like right, like I think they all pretty much match. There's four skeins in here, and I really don't think I can see where I changed balls on any of them. At least nothing dramatically, that I would worry about. So here it is, cast on end way down here, increased out, and this is what I've got. And I actually wore it. So when Cheryl and I were chatting on Saturday, I was weaving my ends in. I had it cast off on Saturday, but actually Friday night. I cast it off Friday night, and I was weaving the ends in Saturday when Cheryl and I were chatting. And then, but I still haven't blocked it. And I said to you guys that I would probably end up wearing it before I blocked it because I was going out. There was a fall festival, and I wanted to wear it. It was almost a little too warm to wear it, but there was a kind of a nice coolish breeze, so I could wear it. So I wore it on Saturday. I still haven't blocked it, and I don't know. I was gonna say I probably won't. Knowing me, I am just going to wear it, and it probably may not ever get blocked, but it might. My edge, I'll show you the edge because I know Lynn asked me, and I just realized, Lynn, I forgot to answer your message. So there's the edge. It does curl a smidge, but it hasn't been blocked. Once it's been blocked, it will lay flatter. But even still, once you're wearing it, the curled edge really doesn't bother me all that much at all. It just kind of all blends in. So I like this. I like it, the 200-gram version of this. I like it a lot. Though the one skein, I happen to have them just sitting here. This was shawl number 2. This was Mary Maxim sock yarn, and this is just a one skein version, which is just a nice little scarf around your neck. Shawlette, if that's the word you like to use. And this is the original one, knit out of Leo and Roxy Orange Crush. And when I was designing this shawl, I didn't have a name for it. And so we just kept calling it the Orange Crush shawl because that's the yarn. This is the yarn right here that I used. And so it just kind of got dubbed the Orange Crush shawl and it just kind of stuck and I just left it as that. So here again, this is just a nice, we'll just double up. But there you go, right? So just a nice smallish shawl just to tuck inside your coat on those chilly days that are coming. So it looks nice too. Look at that. Maybe we could start a new trend. Double shawl wearing, layering your shawls. What do you think? Anyway, so I like this. I like this. I like this pattern a lot. I like the texture. It's easy. It's simple. It's repetitive. Once you get going on it a few times, you don't need to have your pattern handy. You can just read your rows and carry on. So it's really nice that way. And then the asymmetrical, of course, you can just knit as big as small as you want. One skein, two skein, three skeins, something in between, right? Just knit what yarn you've got, knit it to the size you like, and it works out great. So I will probably cast on more because I seriously am obsessed with these. But I do have some other designs in the works, so I can't get too stuck on one of them. So, okay, this one's gonna go because I want you guys to admire my newest finish. So I'm pretty excited about this. So I have not updated my whiteboard with this finish, so I will have to do that. So done. One finished, one finished, and a whole bunch more cast on. Last week's cast on is here. So this is more yarn that I dyed. So this is some non-superwash wool. Worsted weight. This is the Patton's Classic Wool. And oh, hey everybody. I see some more people coming in here. I see Natalie and Cheryl and Ian and Liz and Nikki and Diane and Susanna. So hi everybody. If you're watching, say hi. And Natalie, it's on. I Natalie, okay. Natalie's totally distracted me about my pumpkin. I know I have, there's actually two of them. There's one back there too, but he's not completely stuffed yet. I know I got a little carried away with some neon orange pumpkins here. Anyways, last week's New Start project, you guys. So this was yarn that I dyed. Again, Patton's Classic Wool, non-superwash, and there was 3 colors of dye on here, and I absolutely love this. And I am going to try to replicate this because I really, really like this. Every time I hold this, oh, that's why they're not there. I'm like, what is that? So anyway, I really, really like this color. Really like it a lot. Oh my goodness. Shoot, just dropped my knitting. What do you think? Could all 3 of those go together? I think they could, can they? If only they were the same weight. But anyway, so this one here, I have 3 skeins of this. So I've only skeined up one so far. So there's this one, the one I've skeined, and then there is another one around here, just waiting to be skeined. Hold on. Sorry, guys. I dropped this one. Okay, so this is the one that I've skeined up, and I've got it cast on. I don't have too much done on this because I have been working on secret knitting that Jocelyn and I are going to show and talk about Thursday night. And I can't show it to you. And I spent a lot of time working on that project on the weekend. So that's the Halloween Farrell scarf that we're gonna show on Thursday night. So I can't show it, I can't talk about it, can't give you any hints to how far I am, not far, good, bad, progress. Not gonna give anything away. But that's what I worked on the weekend. So my new start didn't get too much done on it other than getting started. And I decided that I am going to do this just all nice, squishy garter stitch. I think doing I've got a bunch of I have a few colorwork projects on the go right now, and doing garter stitch is kind of nice. Just doing this little simple bit here was just really nice. Just it was kind of like a it was like an aha moment, right? Where I could just pick it up and sorry, and not have to think, not have to count. I mean, I just have to count 3 stitches on the end to know where I'm doing my increases. But other than that, pretty easy peasy, just back and forth. I like the nice big eyelets increases that I'm getting along the edges. It's a worsted weight, and I'm using a 5 millimeter needle, which is a US 8, and I only know that because I'm cheating and reading the needle. So a US 8 or a 5 millimeter needle. So just going for a little bit bigger gauge, a little bit drapier, and 3 skein worsted weight. So hopefully I'll have a nice, again, a nice big kind of shawl like this for this fall. That is my plan. So I'm off to a good start. I think my needle size is fine. I didn't check my gauge. I just like how it feels. There's nice, it's not stiff. There's a nice lot of drape to this, so I'm liking that. So I'm just gonna keep going with that. Every time I think I need a little bit of a break, I'm gonna work on that, which will be a good thing because that kind of replaces this project because this Orange Crush was my go-to if I was, watching a movie, if I was going to knit night, if I was going I don't know, where else do I go? Not too many places, but if I was going someplace, like mostly knit night, right? Because we all know what happens when you go to knit night. And I try, our guild went to the beach 2 weekends ago, and it was chilly. It was chilly. We were wrapped in blankets and shawls, and we were wearing sweaters, and we were wearing our socks, but it was a really, really fun time. Got to see everybody, and we were outside, and it was really, really nice. But, I was gonna take I had a more complicated project in my bag, and one of the knitting members, she's like, "Louise, what are you doing?" She's like, "Don't even think about knitting that." She said, "You'll knit 2 rows and you'll pull out 4," kind of thing, right? And I mean, I know she's right. I always know you should not knit complicated things when you're visiting with people, but do I listen to myself? No. Do I always do it? Yes. Do I always have to rip out? Most of the time. So this time I actually listened to her and I didn't work on it. I worked on this because this was also a deadline because I was trying to get it done for the end of September. So um, I worked on this, and even on this, which is pretty easy, I did have to pull it part of a row at one time because I realized I'd gotten off track. But anyways, this typically though is knit night friendly. You can knit this. But anyways, now that it's done, and that was kind of part of why I was really not even wanting to get this done because I liked knitting it so much. So now that it's done, I think this shawl will just kind of take its place as my go-to. Just pick up. All I'm going to need to do is know which side is which for my increases because the increases are different if it's a right side row or a wrong side row, but we're garter stitch, so it's not really, you're not going to be able to see it, right? So I don't laugh at me, you guys, but I've got when I started it, I didn't have any locking stitch markers because I'm just going to put a stitch marker on this side so I know that this is my quote right side. So I know that I'm doing the double increase on that side. And then on the wrong side where I don't really have any yarn hanging out here, this is going to be my wrong side. So it's just a single increase on either end. So yeah, you improvise, right? You use what you have. And at this particular moment when I was casting on, I had nothing. I didn't have a safety pin. I didn't have a bobby pin. I had like nothing. So I just thought, okay, I have a tail end here. So even without a darning needle, I, I just kind of picked up a loose little top of a stitch and just kind of pulled my tail through. And I thought, okay, that's how I'm marking which side is which. So I really should just actually, while I'm talking about it, go find an actual stitch marker and identify my sides here. So that is really it. That's other than my secret knitting, which I will show that to you next Monday after Jocelyn and I have done our reveal. So if you guys don't know about the secret knitting, Jocelyn and I are on here on YouTube twice a month. We're always on the first Thursday of the month going over what last month we decided what we wanted to work on for the month. So that's what this Thursday is. This Thursday is the first Thursday of October. So we're going to be on here. And the project that we picked was hold on, I think I got a picture. The Halloween scarf. And it is just called a Fair Isle Halloween scarf. And give me one sec. I think I do. So this is it. You can find it's a free pattern on Ravelry. But look at all this color work, you guys. And the scarf is that long. It is roughly around 8 feet long. And it's a lot of color work. It's a super lot of fun, but it's a lot of knitting. So that was what Jocelyn and I are both working on this project. So Thursday night, we're going to show our progress and we're going to see, it was kind of like, I don't know, were we racing, Jocelyn? I don't know. I wasn't really racing. I was just knitting what I could knit. So we'll see if either one of us finished it, how far we got. Did we both get halfway? Did anybody run out of yarn? Did anybody have trouble? I don't know. Or we'll see. So that's going to be Thursday night. We're going to talk all about that project. And there are a few people who are knitting along with us. And I don't think they were necessarily going to try to get it knit within the month to have finished for Thursday, but to carry on working on it through October, because what a perfect project to work on through October and then have it done, you know, kind of the week before Halloween to wear if our weather is the way it's going. It may be cold enough for a really heavy, bulky, warm Fair Isle scarf. And it'll be fun, right? I just envision I'm going to kind of stalk my neighbors and see who's got really cool decorations. There's a couple of houses very near us that go all out and decorate outside, and it's a huge thing, and everybody in the neighborhood goes. So I thought I may just go and do some selfies in front of some of their blow ups decorations or something with my scarf on. I think it'll just be fun. There'll be a whole roll of selfie pictures. Where can I wear my Halloween scarf? That is the plan. So anyways, so that is it. Last week's project has started. This week's project is the red. If anybody is just jumping in here and wondering which yarn was the winning yarn, if it was the red or if it was the green, the red was the winner. So I'm not sure if everybody is thinking that I need all of the extra time to get some Christmas socks knit, and that's probably not too far off. Or if they're thinking, I mean, the red is kind of, I was kind of going for an orangey color here, so it could be kind of Halloween-y. I don't know. I will knit them up, and I guess once I get them started, we'll see what the verdict is. Are they going to be more Christmassy or more Halloween-y? We can chat about that next week. Okay, so that is what I have been working on. What about you guys? What have you been working on? Is anybody casting anything new on? Is anybody finishing anything? I see tons and tons of people. You guys have been chatting in the comments, which is wonderful. So I'm just going to kind of scroll back. I saw some comments here about the hurricanes. So I hope if anybody was in the path of either Ian or Fiona, that everything is okay, that hopefully you've got power and heat and water and, you know, everything's good. I know we definitely saw lots of media coverage here about, yeah, all the devastation. I can't imagine because we live inland so much that that's something that's one thing we don't have to worry about. We've been having lots more tornado warnings around here, but hurricanes is something that we don't have to worry about. So let me see, I'm just going to kind of scroll back here. So, oh, Val, Lynn, I know, I saw your comment and I thought, yes, she's on the winning side this week. I know, it's fun. You just never know, right? Sometimes I think when I pick two yarns or I pick two kinds of projects, sometimes I wonder, I think that this will win. I think people will pick this, but sometimes you just never know. I really wasn't sure if red or green would win out today. So let me see, what is everybody doing tonight? Oh, yes, Jocelyn said yes. No talking about the secret knitting yet. Nope, 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 nope. Oh, so Ian is Susanna. Okay, Susanna, I'm just saying this. This is Susanna. I got some water on my computer and it doesn't work now. Oh, shoot. Well, that's a bummer. Unless you wanted a new laptop, but probably not, right? Oh, that's a bummer. Oh, okay, okay. So let's see. Oh, I did do something else, you guys. This is just, hold on. I have a hat back here. So I'm going to try and do some hats. I think I talked a bit about this somewhere. I can't remember where I chatted about all this stuff. I don't know if it was here last Monday or if it was the Fiber Friends. I think it was after Jocelyn and I chatted the last time, so I don't think it was Jocelyn and I. But I, as you know, have I have a very large stash of yarn and it is multiplying like crazy. Even though somehow when I try to say, okay, I'm going to slow down or I'm going to try to knit up more than I'm buying, that never happens, you guys. And I am getting overrun with yarn. And I know. I can hear some people's eyes rolling, going, "Well, Louise, what do you think when you buy all this yarn every week, right?" Most weeks I buy yarn. Well, what do you expect? Well, I'm going to get some of it knit up. I did this hat in 40 minutes. And actually, this one's maybe a little bit less because I did this one, I think, a little shorter. I played around. So I have got one of the Addy circular knitting machines with the crank. And it's actually our knitting groups, but anyways, I've got it here at my house right now for a little while. And that is what I did the pumpkins on. Okay. I am terrible at pointing there. Oh my gosh, I still can't there. Oh my God. This one back here. That one is the exact same size as a hat. And I think that took about 15 minutes to just crank that out. So I thought, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to use up some of my stash, some oddballs that I have, and I'm just going to make some hats and I'm going to make some scarves and I'm just going to start kind of collecting things for charity and probably in the next month go drop off some things. So I had thought about just doing some scarves, some double thick scarves and doing a bunch of hats and just trying to get through some of these extra balls of yarn that I have that I maybe don't have a plan for and just use it up. So this is actually my second hat because I did the first hat and I took it to Knitting Club on Thursday and Sam claimed it. A lot of you guys know Sam. She's usually in the comments here. I don't know if I see her in the chat tonight, but she loved it, put it on, and I'm like, if you love it and you'll wear it, take it, right? So once the secret knitting is over, um, or once I have a few more projects kind of where I want them to be, what I want to try and do is do one a day for a little while. I don't know how long I can can keep one a day up, but it doesn't take very long, like half an hour. So I'm gonna try to do that and then drop them off at some of um the like women's community house and some of the shelters and things like that. So I thought it would be a good use of all of this yarn that I have if I can help keep some people warm this year. And people keep saying that it's going to be cold and it's where we're going to have like a real Canadian winter. It gets going to be cold and it's going to be snowy. I don't know. I think some people always say that every year, so you never know what we're going to have. But at some point, it definitely always gets cold. So thought, well, don't want anybody to be cold, so I'm going to try to whip up some hats and scarves and then pass them on. So let me see. Oh, Sally, it's a beautiful color for fall. Almost a russet. Yes, the red it does kind of have a russety more. Yeah, and some parts of it where it's really dark does have more of that shade. Oh, Diane, what is this saying? Green equals gnome pants. Red leftovers equal gnome hat. That would be kind of fun, wouldn't it? Have a Christmas gnome. Oh, Natalie, take glow pumpkins. I know. Natalie, I think you were just jealous of my pumpkins. I know. They're pretty fantastic, aren't they? Liz, they remind you of protective hunting hats. That is exactly the color that they are. They are that hunter orange, neon orange. I have got tons of it. Some of you guys will remember up in my stash, I've got Briggs and Little. I have got 20. I bet you I might have almost 20 skeins of hunter orange wool up in my stash. Some of I did over dye it last year when the Fiber Friends did their dyeing challenge. So and it kind of came out a russety color, which actually really was nice. So maybe I will work at over dyeing some of it. Because yeah, I don't know. Or I could just make them all into pumpkins, but that would be a lot of pumpkins. That might be a little overkill. Could start handing them out to my friends. Oh, okay, let me see. Okay. Da, 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 da. Oh, Natalie, sorry you had to tease me. That is fine. I'm fine with teasing. At least it wasn't a pom pom. Well, Natalie, you're not going to get off too easy. Hold on, because I've got some Christmas plans for pom poms. Okay. Shall I tell you that I dislike the majority of green and yellow and gold? Oh, Liz, so that's why you picked red because and red is not my color at all. You won't see me with too much red. I have socks to knit. I know I've got tons of socks to knit. And I'm gonna have some vacation coming up in November. So that's when I'm really hoping that I will be able to kind of power through some of these half-done projects because, oh my gosh, as much as I don't want to think about it really, but the end of the year is not that far away. I mean, our Thanksgiving is coming up, Halloween is not that far away, then it's US Thanksgiving, then it's Christmas, then it's the new year. So before the new year comes, I I was gonna say I have to, but I don't have to because this is all for fun and whatever I get done. But I would really, really, really like to have more finishes than starts by the end of the year. So I'm gonna have to try to get some socks done, so a few more things done. But yeah, that's kind of my goal for the end of the year. Everybody's probably, well, we're not thinking about New Year's resolutions, right? Like January, what's our goal for the new year? My goal right now is for the end of the year to be able to say that I came out 50-50 or close-ish somewhere in there. Um, so yeah, so I want to try and get a few more finishes. So that's what I'm going to use my vacation for. Okay, let me see here. I'm going to just go down and check out some comments here. Yarn is addicted to me. See, maybe that's it. Maybe it's not I'm addicted to the yarn. The yarn just needs to come home with me, right? Oh, that looks like an owl? Oh, my mini pumpkins have been out since September the 24th. Well, that's good. I know, it is time. It's always time. If you feel like decorating and it makes you happy, then I say do it. Nikki, oh, you'll be making a knit version 2. What would you rather make, Liz? Oh, are you doing is this pumpkins? Nikki, I think you said oh, no, I can't remember now. What did you say you were doing? You were doing a pattern. I can't remember now, and I've probably lost it here in the comments, Nikki. Hi, Tammy. Baltimore, day 3 of drizzle and gloom with 2 more days. No loss of power. That's good. You have to trick or treat. Oh, in my scarf? Well, Anne, Halloween is a Monday night. So actually, I think that's the start of my vacation is Halloween day. So yeah, maybe I can go trick or treating before go. Maybe I could do a little video, go around before 8 o'clock, and we come here live. Oh, I know. I gotta have fun with things. And Natalie, you have a stash. I know. I'm trying to put a serious dent in it. And which is totally funny because I'm thinking about how can I knit things faster when really I should just stop buying yarn and that would slow down the stash right there. Yeah, no, Sam's not here, so that's kind of unusual. That's all right. I'll see her on Thursday. Do you like to crank? Um, it's not bad. I actually do like it, Anne. It's funny because everything that I had heard about the crank machines was they're fiddly. It's very picky about the yarn. You've got to be very careful. You got like it goes slow. That the yarn likes to not catch in the hooks, and all of that is absolutely true. But I really do like doing it, and yeah, you have to find. But once you find the right yarn, if your yarn is too thick, it just won't crank. Like it just stops, and then you try to crank it and you cure it, like the gears um, making funny noises, right? So in that, and you look at it and you think everything's okay. You don't think anything is caught or bunched up or anything, but it is just the yarn is too thick for it. But the Addy one that I have, the worsted weight, so like my classic wool, Patton's classic wool, it works really, really nice on it. We've got some other ones that another lady at our knitting club has brought in, and they don't like worsted weight at all. So they're more of like an Astra, like a sport weight, DK weight, and they work really, really good. So once you find the yarn that works well, then you do. You have to watch, and I watch every, I want to say peg or hook. Every time one comes up, I watch every single one. And as long as you go slow and you watch every peg and you've got the right yarn, you just slow and steady, and it doesn't take long to get a round done, and, like, half an hour later, you've got a hat done. So, I mean, not gonna stop hand knitting, like, trading my needles for that because it's not knitting. I guess it goes back to if you're a process knitter or a product knitter. If you're a product knitter, then the knitting machine is the way to go because you'll have a hat in an evening. You could get 2 or 3 hats done in an evening if you wanted to, but it's not knitting, right? It's not what I call like the fun that I like with holding the needles and making every stitch. You don't get that with the cranking. But if you want to bust through your stash and you want to get some finished stuff, it's okay. If you've got a little bit of patience with it, it works out fine. Now, to do ribbing on it, I think I'm safe to say I would never do ribbing on it because to do ribbing, you have to do stockinette, and then you have to drop every whatever you want to be your purl stitch, you have to drop it and then ladder it up as a purl stitch and do that all the way around your hat. So I'm liking, yeah. I don't think I need to get too super fancy on here. I think this would be just fine. And I even just like the roll brim. Like you can catch it so you make like a folded brim on it. Like, I don't know. I might do that on some of them, but I think the roll brim is just fine for what I'm doing. Okay, let me see. So what is everybody saying in the comments? Life is short by that yarn. Natalie, are you enabling me? That is kind of my motto. Cloud cakes. Um, oh, where is there was a new so Susanna, is that what like there was a newsletter came out from Michael's today and they were talking about more cakes, Karen cakes. Is that what they were talking about? Cloud cakes? I need to stay away from Michael's. I need to stay away from Little Red Mitten. I was down at Little Red Mitten on the weekend and came home. I wanted I don't know. I don't know how the yarn just jumps into my cart. That's all I can say about that. So I'm well stocked up for projects for the next little while for my projects for Little Red Mitten. But it was nice. I got to go down, got to visit everybody down there. Some of the knitters that were there, they were. It was a nice day on Saturday, so they had their lawn chairs out sitting, and they were doing their like a knitting afternoon on the veranda there. So I got to chat with those, chat with the girls inside working. So it was, the social part is partly why I go. That and New Yarn. Okay, so, Susanna, I think that using a knitting machine for making hats and scarves, I think that makes good use of your yarn and time. See, I do too, because then I feel like I can actually, do I get to count these as new starts? Oh, I hadn't thought about that till now. I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think I will count these as new starts. I may, I may count them up and add them in at the end just, to say maybe I'll keep yeah, I don't think I'll count these as new starts and projects because I don't know, that seems like two separate things and it's not I was gonna say, is it not fair to, count this as a start and a finish in one night versus what is hand knit? So I think I'll keep it separate. Natalie, I say yes, life is yes, life is short, do happiness. Exactly. Exactly. Oh, Susie, Louise, are you teaching? Yes, I am teaching at Little Red Mitten. Yes, the color work cowl that's coming up, and then there's mittens, and then there's a learn how to knit class that I'm doing. Yep. And there's a few other people that teach different classes at Little Red Mitten as well. So that's kind of I've been doing the color work, the learn how to knit, and the brioche are kind of the ones that I've been doing. Angie does the socks. There's oh my goodness. There's another girl that does about sweater fit and modification, which is an awesome class to take. And yeah, and they've had somebody in the past do crochet classes. So there's a little bit of everything. Yes, call it charity knitting. Exactly. Charity knitting. Yes. So I could keep track of my charity knitting and I won't add it to my niece. Oh, Susie says I would say they count. Hmm. Okay. I'll have I'll keep track of them and then I'll see at the end if I count them in or not. Oh, Katie's saying why not? Definitely a new start, Bernadette says. Natalie says yes. Really? Well, I feel like that's cheating because then I will definitely get the scale bumped in my favor, right? As far as I'll end up with more starts than not. Okay, we'll see. We'll see. Gift basket knits count. Okay. Um, oh, the online portion work. Is that for I'm not sure, Susie, actually. I will have to check that out. Look into that. Oh, Liz says finishes are finishes. Well, this is true. That is true. That is true. Okay. Well, okay. I'll see. Well, I'll keep track. So maybe we'll have um some more hats or scarves to show next week too. Well, that's been it. So I'm really, really excited to see how this knits up. And I've never used this yarn. either. So I'm really interested to see how this knits up and really, really, really hoping that I like this base. It it's really, really soft because it's merino and it's superwash and it feels lovely. So I can't wait to cast this on. I just like all the colors, light and dark. I'm really excited to see how this will all knit up. So I'm gonna have to look for needles, you guys. My last pair of socks that I started, I was using kind of a mishmash of DPNs. I had some wood, I had some metal, I had some, I don't know what, like 6 inch and then a 7 inch, like the lengths were different, but they were all 2.2. Well, I think they were all 2.25. To be honest, I don't know as I checked because I might have been scared that they weren't all, but most of them were. There might have been one 2.5 in there, but anyway, it's working fine. And so I don't know. That was kind of the bottom of my sock knitting needles. I don't know if I have any more. Maybe if I really digged, I might have some more like these. Like look at these. These how long are these? These are long. These are, these are needles that I think, probably like my grandma used, right? I think they all had these long DPNs compared to, what do I have here? This, oh my God, this one's really short. But, and I wonder if that's why sometimes people say they don't like knitting with DPNs, is if they've had these really long ones. This is a weapon. I know it could be. I'm sure they wouldn't let me on a plane with this. Um, This is long and they are fiddly and cumbersome to knit with, right? As opposed to something nice and short and compact. So I wonder if this is what be interesting. Next time I hear people say they don't like DPNs, I should ask if they've always just knit with long ones. Anyway, but I would knit with them. If I had to do it, I could I could knit with these long ones. Sonia, how's that? Oh, you feel so like, such a knitting with those long DPNs. I know. Well, talk about that. Remember my long flexi flips that I have? They are long and floppy, floppy everywhere. But I don't know. I guess you just, look, is this one even longer? You just, oh, it is just a smidgen longer still. Not funny. But what would these, so long DPN, so this could have been for, um, like a sweater, like a sleeve, right? If you were doing an adult, like an extra large sleeve, thinking back to like before we had all our interchangeables, right? You would want really long DPNs so you could have a nice big circumference, wouldn't you? So, oh, there's a purpose for everything, right? So I'm sure if I do a little more digging, I probably could scrounge up. Just every time I say I don't have any more, I remember saying that I had used up all of my white wool for dyeing, and then when I was cleaning up in the yarn room, I found about 4 more balls, and I just thought to myself, "Of course I have more. Of course I have more." The chances of me running out of something are pretty slim. And yeah, I found more yarn. So chances of me having more needles, if I take a really good close look upstairs, take my needle sizer up and go check on them all, I probably could find some. And if I got really stuck, I could use 4 needles and not worry about the fifth. I could do that too. Anyway, oh, that's right. So yeah, Tammy, exactly. So Tammy's saying before circular needle, blah, blah, blah. Oh my goodness, I'm having so much trouble talking today. So Tammy said before circular needles, you had to get around the sweater somehow. So that's right. So you would want probably the longer the DPN at that point, the better, right? Because otherwise you'd be having multiple. Like we always think of having 5 DPNs, 4 in your project, and the fifth as your working needle. But really, you could put as many in there as you needed to go around, right? So that might really feel cumbersome. I don't think I've ever done that. Put in, like 8 DPNs or something to go in the round. Now, I know I have a friend who has done some big double knit blankets where you start in the center and then you work out. She has had multiple, like 60-inch circular needles in the Afghan because it was like huge. So she had multiple to go all the way around. So same kind of thing, just DPNs, right? If you look at pictures of those using a knitting belt, that's exactly right, Liz. They do because then they kind of steady it in the belt. And that's for yep, the kind of knitting that is. Oh my gosh. So you got somebody is going to type it in here for me, right? It's lever knitting. Lever knitting. I knew the word was up here. I just had to get to it. Shetland. Oh my gosh. You guys, have you guys been seeing pictures on Instagram? Shetland Wool Week is going on. Is it this week or was it last week? I'm not sure if it ended on the weekend or started on the weekend. I think that is my next place to go. I It's been on my list to go Shetland, go for 2 weeks. Go for 1 week and do Shetland Wool Week and then do another week of kind of traveling around and do some other things or maybe go to Iceland. Oh, I'm really seriously thinking about that. Is that trip on anybody else's bucket list to go there? All of the stranded color work. Oh my gosh. It is incredible. Yeah, well, I will see. I'll let you know next week what I find what I find for needles. Oh, and I should let you guys know. I'll let you know now. But next week there will be a live as normal. Next week is our holiday Monday. Next week is our actual Thanksgiving day, but I'll do a live. The week after, there will not be a live. I will record something and have it come up Monday night at 8 o'clock probably. But I am going to be um I've got a work thing going on. So I will not be able to be live, which is kind of crazy because I've been doing this every Monday night live since the beginning of 2020, the very first Monday of January in 2020. And I've been doing it every Monday since then, and I have never missed, even with vacation or whatever. But this in 2 Mondays, the 17th, I've got a work thing. So there'll be a recorded video. So there will be something we just won't be able to chat like this. Um, but then the following week, I'll be back. So, oh, we all need to be billionaires, don't we? Oh, just think the yarn trips we could go on to, the yarn shopping. I know, wouldn't it be fun? Oh, Cheryl, oh my gosh, we could do a Fiber Friends. We could podcast from Shetland Wool Week. How would that be? Wouldn't that be fantastic? Yeah. Well, maybe we have to put that on our bucket list. Maybe we've got to work towards going there one year. I think it would be a lot of fun. Definitely, we would have to knit a colorwork sweater for that trip. How everybody has everybody always talks about the Rhinebeck sweater. I'm sure there has to be a Shetland Wool Week sweater, right? Like something that you knit just for that trip. I think. Oh, super fun. Anyways, guys, I think we are just about at our hour. That seems to have gone by super, super quick. I hope everybody's got lots of knitting done while we've been chatting. So Jocelyn and I will be back here on Thursday night. So we're always here at 7:30, so half an hour earlier than we are tonight. Hey Jocelyn, how are you? Um, oh, hypersonic plane? Well, that would sounds super fast. Wouldn't get much knitting done on the trip, I'm guessing, but we would get there fast, right? So, anyways, yeah, so Jocelyn and I will be here back here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 3 nights. 3 nights we will be back here. We will chat about the Halloween scarf and who knows what else. So we will be here. I know, yay, I know Thursdays. It's always so fun talking with Jocelyn and the conversation, we just kind of chat about everything. At one point we had kind of thought we would kind of have an idea of what we were going to talk about, but I don't know. We don't seem to need that. We just kind of chat about whatever, and it's always lots and lots of fun. And then Cheryl and I will be on the Fiber Friends podcast again Saturday morning, and then I'll be back here again on Monday to show you what this red yarn looks like. Started into some socks. Yeah, it's going to be super fun. Lots of fun. And maybe I will oh, and the Halloween scarf. If you guys don't catch us Thursday, I will show you my version of the Halloween scarf Monday night. And that, yeah, it's just going to be a fun-filled knitting week, pretty much, with a little bit of Thanksgiving festivities thrown in over the weekend. Well, guys, I think that is just about it. I am just looking at the comments here before we end the night. Susie says a Fiber Friends cruise to all the world countries. I would definitely be up for that. Definitely, definitely. I know. I think we would all be in, right? If money was not an object, I think we would all just jump on a boat and plane or whatever, and we would just hit the road, right? And do a, yeah, worldwide yarn crawl. Something to think about. Okay, guys. Well, thank you so much for voting. There was tons and tons and tons of votes today, so that was always exciting to see. And yeah, I know I kind of kept hoping, well, not a little, I'm thinking it was going to catch up, but nope, the red was like out in front all day long. So everybody was definitely all about the red. So I'm excited to get that cast on. I'll let you know if I find needles. I may just break down and go buy some. Entirely possible. So, guys, have a great week. Thanks so much for voting. Thanks for chatting. Thanks for just watching. And I hope you got lots of knitting done. Have a great week. Happy Thanksgiving if you guys are celebrating this weekend. And I will be here Monday. If you guys are celebrating on Monday, that's fine. You can just catch the replay. And have a fantastic week, everybody. Happy knitting. And happy casting on. If you're casting something on, let me know. I'd love to see all your new starts. And if you're finishing, please share those too, because I can definitely use some finishing vibes. Okay? Good night, everybody. Happy Monday.